up, everybody? It's Mr. Hamilton. Welcome back to On the Couch, and this is the spoiler full review of Spider-Man No Way Home. Once again, this has spoilers. I will say it one more time. This has spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, you don't want it to be ruined, stop this movie right now and do not watch any further. Go watch my spoiler-free review that it's uploaded, but do not watch this one because we are about to dive in heavily of what we just saw. Before we do jump into that, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, support the channel, get your seat on the couch so you guys can be here when I drop more reviews like this. Hit the bell, everything like that. Appreciate it, guys. Let's talk about this. Holy shit, what a movie. Where do I even begin? I think I'm going to talk about the very first biggest surprise that happened in the first, 15 minutes of the movie. Daredevil, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Matthew Murdock showing up. Everybody talked about this and said that he was going to be in there, and then a lot of people lost hope when that second trailer came out and we didn't see him. But he was in there, and I lost it. I was like, once I saw the little blind stick come out, I was like, oh my God, no, man. And it made sense why Kevin Feige made that announcement earlier. Made that announcement earlier this week about Charlie Cox being Daredevil and continuing on and being the MCU as his character, because lo and behold. And I like that they're pulling the characters out of the Netflix universe and bringing them over to the MCU. We got Kingpin, who's showing up in Hawkeye. Now we have Charlie Cox, who's Matthew Murdock, showing up. So that's cool. That was a really fun surprise to see in that. This movie is huge. I feel like this movie unites generations. It allows you to watch a Spider-Man movie without having to pick your favorite Spider-Man, without having to pick your favorite villain, without having to pick your favorite timeline of these things, because they're all in this movie, all of them. Like, to see all of these characters that span these different generations, from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man to Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to now Tom Holland Spider-Man, and to see these villains that just all have to deal with Spider-Man, it's so crazy. Like, if you would have told me, years ago, watching Tobey Maguire, that I'm going to see him together with another Spider-Man, I'd laugh at you. Even with the Andrew Garfield thing, I'd still laugh at you. And now you can literally, there's a movie out that has all three Spider-Man, all these villains, a wonderful storyline, and it's just amazing. Like, the nostalgia that you get while watching this movie, it brought out the kid in me again. Seeing Tobey Maguire come out and he's looking older, and it's just like, oh man, it really hits you. Like, it really hits you in the feels when all this stuff is going on. And then I just like that, like, when it comes to the Spider-Man, I like how they interact with each other. I like that Sony and Marvel did not shy away from the emotional parts of it, like talking about Aunt May, talking about Uncle Ben, the other one talking about how he lost Gwen Stacy. Like, these guys have been through a lot, and they made sure that you knew that they've been through a lot. They didn't, even though it was Tom Holland's Spider-Man, they didn't let you forget about these other Spider-Men and why they were there, who they are, and their stories that they have been in. They incorporated them heavily, which is what I liked. There's a lot of nods to old things. There's a lot of nods to, like, conversations people talk about Tobey Maguire and his webs coming out of his wrist. Like, they have a whole conversation about that. They actually reenact the Spider-Man meme, the Spider-Man meme where everybody's pointing at each other. They literally slide that meme in there, and the way they do it is so funny, so hilarious. Like, it's self-awareness of knowing what what is going on out there in pop culture and what people, and just to see that stuff come to the big screen is crazy. All of them did well. Tom Holland brought it in this one. There's time, like, you see Spider-Man stripped down to like his bare emotions. Like, he just lost Tony. You know what I'm saying? That's still fresh with him. And then he loses his Aunt May in front of him, and it's just like all these people that he cares about, he's losing. And that's something that's always like sat with me heavily in the comics, is that Peter Parker went through some heavy emotionally stuff, like losing people, this and that. He's the one who feels significant loss because of what he goes through. And they really put that in there. They hammered in deep on how, like, what he's really been through. Like, but Tom Holland portrays it, whether he shows his emotion. Like, when he hurts and he cries on there, like, it breaks your heart because you're like, you really feel it. Like, you feel that shit. And then, lost my train of thought. But, and then with the other Spider-Man coming in and reassuring him, like, hey, bro, like, as Peter Parker, we've all been through some stuff, and we didn't let it, change us. And at the end, when Tom Holland is beating the shit out of Green Goblin, and he wants to kill him, but when you start to realize that he stops pulling his punches because he's like denting the metal when he's punching, he wants to kill it, and he's just punching, and he grabs the glider to stab him, and then Tobey Maguire comes and grabs it and is like looking at him like, bro, you don't want to do this. Like, the emotions in that scene are just so crazy. Like, let's talk about Willem Dafoe playing the Green Goblin. It's like he didn't miss a step of like who he was in the old movies. He even amped it up a little bit. Like, he got scary, he got crazy, like he got down and gritty with that character again. All of them, like playing their past characters, all of them brought the same character from the old movies that they were in to this one. And that's something that blows my mind. Usually when you bring back, an old character, and it's like, either it's not like they forget how to play them, but maybe they can't, this and that. So much time has passed. Maybe their mental state is different, but everybody was on point. Everybody, even down to Lizard, to Sandman. At first, I didn't realize that Sandman was. I thought maybe they were going to keep him being Sand because they couldn't get the real dude, but they actually got him. I don't know how much of that maybe could have been CG. Maybe it was voiceovers, but who knows? But the fact that they kept everybody in there, everybody came back, like, so good, so good, so good. I mean, let's not forget Doctor Strange. That whole battle where they were, like, battling in the mirror dimension, nuts. That went so nutty. Like, it's whoever directed this movie, I know Marvel's going to make them do their own Marvel movie, because for me, what's crazy is when you watch these movies with different characters. You have Spider-Man, you have Doctor Strange, and then that whole battle of the mirror dimension is such a Doctor Strange thing. It's crazy how they're able to take pieces from other movies, drop it into like this, like a Spider-Man movie, and it still feel like it came out of a Doctor Strange movie. Like, that whole piece felt like it came out of a Doctor Strange movie. It was there, but it fit. It's not like somebody else was trying to do Doctor Strange and putting him into the movie. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was just, it was done perfectly. I liked all the villains. You could tell Jamie Foxx was feeling himself, not being the weird Electro that he was before. But here's the thing, they even nodded to it, saying when he was like, oh, I got a new body. Like, oh, there's some different energy here that I'm feeling. I liked all of it, like the slow motion, the action, the CGI. The fights between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin were so brutal. When they were in the hotel, or the thing that where Aunt May lived or Happy lived, those fight scenes were so brutal. Like, they were tossing each other through windows, through floors. Like, man, you could feel the intensity of that. Like, usually sometimes the Spider-Man fights are a little soft. This was not the case. Like, he was getting mollywopped. I I do say I wish there was a little bit more of the villains like kind of fighting with each other and stuff like that. So I feel like they like the only reason why I think about that is because I've played the video game, so I know how the video games go and how like the cinematics go when you're fighting multiple enemies and so are multiple villains, and that's how I was thinking about it. Like, man, they could have done like so many combo moves off of each other, this, that. I was just going crazy, but it doesn't take away from the movie at all. Doctor Strange was in there. He was in there for what he needed to be and what he didn't need it to be, and they didn't overly use Doctor Strange, but they made sure that they used him in the way that he was supposed to be used. Like I said, there's a lot of Easter eggs. Like when Jamie Foxx says, "Oh, there's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere." That's a nod to Miles Morales. There's just a lot of things that you're like, "Oh, caught that. All right, cool, I get it." And this is why I need to take notes, because there's just so much stuff that I think about, and then like I get here to do this and I forget. Yeah, it was just a good movie. Like, it was amazing. It was fun. It was fun when it was fun. You know, people cheering. Like, when they first see Andrew Garfield come through, everybody loses it. But then when Tobey Maguire comes through, everybody's just shitting their pants, clapping, hollering. Like, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Like, that stuff gives you the chills. That stuff gives you the goosebumps and the nostalgia of like, oh man, I remember being a kid watching these guys, and now all of a sudden, look, they're all here together, and it's just, oh man, like, I want to watch that movie again. I wish that it was on Disney Plus so I could just go ahead and just turn it back on again. Like, it was such a phenomenal movie. The end credit scenes. I already forgot the post one, or the one that's like after the credits. Don't quite remember what happened with that. Hop in the comments and let me know, because I completely forgot that. Because the one at the very end, which was they pretty much gave us a teaser trailer of the Multiverse of Madness, and let me tell you, wow, that movie is going to be off the chain. That's all I can say about that. That looks nuts. Forget about it, man. Forget about it. Oh, I remember the other one. It was Venom. And here's the question now. Venom ends up getting transported back to where he's supposed to be, and he can't talk about Spider-Man now. But there's a piece of the symbiote is left in this universe. So now, who is going to be Venom in the MCU? Are they going to bring back Tom Hardy? Like, what is going to happen? Like, they left that wide open. So comment below, what do you guys think that meant? Like, is we going to get a new Venom? Is this going to be the start of something different? Like, what are we talking about? Yeah. I mean, this movie was just good. That's all I can say. Like, they incorporated everything you know about Peter Parker, from like Flash to like how it is like if he goes back to school and everybody knows who he is. Some people hate him, some people love him, and he's almost in this position of like Batman in the Dark Knight. Like, people hate him for what he does, but at the same time he also has to do the dirty work and save a bunch of lives without it having to look good. And then now from going forward, it's like nobody remembers who he is. Like, people know who Spider-Man is. Nobody remembers who Peter Parker is. So it's like in another movie, like how is he gonna come back, and they're gonna be like, well, who are you? Like, oh, I used to work with you guys, and I knew Cap, or I knew Iron Man, and this and that. This is where I got the suits. Like, he can't obviously go back and be like part of Stark Tech anymore, because not going to remember. Like, it does raise a bunch of questions on what the future of Spider-Man is going to hold, and Tom Holland, and how that's going to actually exist with the MCU, because it feels like they kind of could cut ties with him with the MCU, because nobody in the MCU is going to remember him. Doctor Strange isn't, Thor, like nobody in that universe is going to remember who he is. So, I mean, they'll remember Spider-Man, but it's a mind fuck to think about like what exactly that's going to happen with that. Yeah, everybody was cool. Mary J, Zendaya playing MJ. Ned was hilarious. That's another one with Ned. Like, can they explore like him having Doctor Strange magic? Because he nailed the portal making like first try. Like Doctor Strange had to get taken to Mount Everest for him to figure it out. And this kid was, I mean, granted he couldn't close any of the portals, but he could open portals. So I mean that's gotta. Even when he told Doctor Strange that he did it, Doctor Strange was like, What kind of looked at him like, all right, maybe So that'd be kind of cool if they let Ned do a little something in the MCU that had to do with more magic stuff. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This movie was amazing. I'm going to rate it 5 out of 5 couch cushions for just all around amazing movie. Can't wait for it to be out. I'd probably go see it again in movie theaters. Who knows? You guys, if you guys seen it, hop in the comments. Let me know your guys' favorite parts. If there was anything you didn't like, if you agree, disagree with me, let's have a conversation. So yeah, go ahead, hop in the comments. Before I let you guys go, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you guys hit the bell so you guys get notified when I drop new content, especially reviews like this one. So thank you guys so much for joining me on the couch for another movie review. And once again, I am Mr. Hamilton. Peace.